How are you?
How's it?
Oh, hi, James.
How's it? How you going?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Welcome back. Seems like forever since I last saw you.
Yeah, thanks.
Of course,
You know,
everyone, you
yeah,
actually busy last week, so nothing doing.
yes, yeah. And man, I'm just still catching up. Like I finished week 2, so now I'm on week 3, and yeah, hey, I don't know.
Ish, ish.
But and like just trying to balance everything. But I'm making progress and I'm enjoying the process. So yeah, I just want to keep pushing so I can get up to date.
So I'm trying to remember what we did and where you're at. Yeah, you got to just push in another couple of weeks, and then you'll sort of get to sort of where we're at. But notwithstanding that, today will still be quite useful for you anyway. So yeah, I don't think it'll necessarily affect too much. So we'll see. But yeah, try to get it done as best you can.
All right.
All right. Otherwise, going well. Good.
All good, thanks.
Okay. All right. How's it?
You're good, James. All is well.
Oh, you sound so soft. Is that me or you?
Oh
It's
no,
you.
let me put
Ah,
my headset. It's me. It's me.
yeah, there we go. Now we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All good.
Uh,
All good.
okay. Cool. Chris, how's it?
Good on you, James.
Okay, and so did you give your guys a break this week? You didn't put them through so much training like you did last
No, not like last week. Yeah, last week it was hectic.
That's all. Yeah, it's all good, eh? It's all good. So, otherwise, how are things going there? All good?
Yeah, no, all good, all good. You will have the guys will give you all their intention today,
Okay, good
all
stuff.
their full.
Well, we're getting to the business end now, so enjoy all the stuff that we did. I want to
Yeah.
catch up, see where everybody is and how they're doing, because most of us should have profiles up. Already starting to work. We know who our niche is. Starting to work out how to find them, and then it's going to be starting to reach out and start to get those conversations flowing.
Okay.
So and then we can get into a lot more practical stuff when we start to see the sort of problems people are having, whether they're getting it all done, etc., etc.
Okay.
Just a question, Chris, for you. One of the things I'd briefly discussed with Virg a while ago was the possibility of getting the guys on the core sales navigator. Is that a realistic possibility? Because it affects what I do, so it has quite a big impact on the next step that I take.
Okay. So how does it affect what you do? The next
We,
step.
it affects the next step because the next step is all about there's really the two things that we're covering at the same time. The first one is about being able to find people. Sales Navigator is a lot better at that. And then also LinkedIn puts quite a lot of limitations on people. So they're obviously trying to force you to upgrade. So when you upgrade and pay them, then they lift those limits. So stupid limits, like for example, being able to send a connection request with a note. 200 characters versus 300 characters, the amount of searches you can do on a monthly basis, and all these guys are going to pick those up very substantially in the very near future. So they're going to hit those limits, and it's quite frustrating, from that point of view, but also with Sales Navigator, I get to do a lot more than without it. So that's kind of the implication there.
So it comes with the cost.
It does come with a cost. If people purchase Sales Navigator by themselves, it used to be 1,250. I think it might have gone up. It might be $1,500 a month per person. But I don't know if you guys have got some sort of group access. You probably do. There might be some seats available. Even if it's just for a short time, that would be quite useful.
So I don't know if maybe, so they need to, I don't think from a company perspective, the company would be in a position to pay for that. Maybe individually, if anyone has 1.5 extra every month, that can, and they know that it's going to boost their business, it can help them.
So what Sales Navigator does have, and this is, I'm speaking to all of you now, it has a free trial that's available, right? So as long as you have not taken a free trial or actually paid for any, let's just call it premium LinkedIn service in the past 12 months, and that can be anything, right? There's a product called LinkedIn Premium. If you guys were looking for jobs or anything like that, and you've taken any of that software on board, you're screwed. But if you haven't in the last 12 months, you can take a 1-month free trial on Sales Navigator. If you
Okay.
know somebody who already has Sales Navigator, and there must be somebody in the company, what they're able to do is they're able to give you a special code to give you a 2-month free trial. And it's definitely worthwhile having. So if we can do that, let's just, I just go through it from the top. Kitamitsu, how are you doing? Would you have access to the trial, or have you used anything before?
Oh, I haven't used anything before, so I think I'd have access to the trial.
All right, so you'd have access. At you?
No, they begging me to use the access.
Okay, so but you haven't used in the past 12 months.
No.
Okay, so that's good. And Kata, you?
I would know. I probably might need to pay. I think I've used premium before.
When? In the last 12 months?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah, somewhere in September, August.
all right. Okay, you screwed. Have a thing. How about you?
I haven't used it.
Okay.
Mm.
So, do any of you know anyone else in the company who's got it?
Yeah, I don't
Chris,
know.
we're going to give you the reconnaissance to find someone, so we can just get codes across to everybody. So, how it works is you just need to connect. You have to be a first level connection, I think. Just connect with somebody and then let them. It's very simple. If they have Sales Navigator, they go into their Sales Navigator interface, they type your name in, it comes up, they click a button and it sends you a message, and you click on the link, and that's it. It's really very, very simple as far as that's concerned, because that'll help us quite a bit as far as that's concerned. So maybe we look at that next week, because if you guys have all got it, then I can do a proper session on Sales Navigator. Which would be very cool. I promise you, it's chalk and cheese. It's like, you'll see. It's just, like Gert, you have to have it. Like you're not the rest of you, maybe not. Gert, you got to have it. So, but you guys will see. It's just phenomenal. All right, Edward, how's it?
Good on yourself.
Not too bad, thanks.
Sorry, man, I was struggling to connect, but yeah.
So listen,
Sorry.
the question that you might not have heard is, from your perspective, have you used any of the LinkedIn paid products or taken a trial in the past 12 months, like a Sales Navigator or a LinkedIn
No.
Premium or something like that? No. Okay, cool.
No, nothing.
All right. So Chris, can you maybe ask around, see if we can just find someone that can help everybody? Then we'll be in good shape.
No, that's fun. And I'll ask my colleague around.
So someone will definitely have it there at the office, and then we can get everybody set up.
Oh, and that'll be my next. When do you need feedback?
Well, next session, fine. Next week is good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'll make a plan.
Okay. All right.
No.
But before I dive in today, I just want to see where are you guys at. So make sure I know, because we've just had a chat. So Gert, in terms of where you at, give me some feedback.
I'm not sure I understand the question in terms of.
So we've built profiles, we've got niches hopefully identified, and then last week we started to talk about how to find people. Have you started looking on either LinkedIn or Sales Navigator at all to try to find
No,
people
sir.
to connect to?
No. Look, what I've done is I told you I've got that one list of a hell of a lot of people that I can connect with, companies and people that I think I can connect with. So that was and I think my market to search for them is your POs and those kind of people. So I'm actually wanting to see what's going for what. Am I going to use my paid version? And then if I use it, how am I going to boost it, or not boost it, but how am I going to get some traction?
Okay, so you haven't done anything there. All right, no, that's cool.
But I don't. But what would you? Oh, okay.
All right, so I just want to see where to logically take you guys next in terms of because what we did the last time, not last week, the week before when we had everybody together, I started off showing you guys the LinkedIn filters. We touched on Sales Navigator. We spoke obviously a lot about LinkedIn because obviously I thought that's what you guys would do. So that was showing you the first level. So what I wanted you guys to do was to do a couple of searches this week based on who you've chosen as your niche to say, okay, can I find these people? Are they there? I just want to see where we at with the whole thing. But it makes sense. We did that discussion. Kata, how about you?
Yeah, maybe I misunderstood because the last time we spoke, I was supposed to go revisit my profile again because the banner was not so good, and also remove some of the information on the about section so that when somebody opens it and then they can get straight to the point and it doesn't require them to open further. So I did that. I revamped that. Is fine. So I think I must have misunderstood you because you did say we must check if we can find these guys, but you said we must not invite them yet. I don't know if I heard you correctly when you say we must not invite them yet.
Okay, no worries. That is kind of what I said. I just wanted to see if you guys had spent a little bit of time and you were comfortable with using LinkedIn and the filters. But that's all good. All right, thanks. Tavi Singh, how about you? Where are you at in big scheme of things? Tavi Singh, are you there? She's gone for a coffee break. All right, we'll catch up with her in a minute. Edward? Are you guys hearing me?
Hi, James.
Oh, yes, we
I
are.
have a bad connection here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Yeah, I've missed the last session, James. But what I've been seeing on my profile is that I've been linked to people who require my services of late. So I don't know if I did something wrong there.
What do you mean you've been linked to people that require your services?
Not linked, but I'm getting that what is this? Let me just check here that people might require my service. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so notifications of people needing financial literacy
Okay, so that's a good thing.
and yeah.
Right.
But it looks like I need to subscribe to something, but which I didn't. But yeah, because I remember you've mentioned that you are gonna load some videos that for sessions that we might have missed.
Yeah, we did. The videos are there.
They're there.
Yeah, I'll if I can't remember, just hang on. I'll go find the URL. I don't remember what I called it. Give me a second. I'll find it for you.
Okay.
I just have to log into the back end and just go and find it.
Hi, James. You emailed it to us on the 27th of Feb.
Yeah, I did, but I'll just stick it in. There we go. Okay, I'll just pop this in the chat for you. Or anyway,
All right.
there you go. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right. So you can. So all the sessions and that I just stick on there. I didn't do last week because last week was something you
Yeah.
guys didn't come and we did some more specific stuff for chat, so that more private. So I didn't load that session.
Not a problem. Thank you,
Okay.
James.
All right, cool. Lucas, how about you?
Hi, James. So I did some searches for bond originators, estate agents, and just connected with them.
Oh, good man.
Yeah,
How'd
yeah.
it go?
I got some few connections. Yeah, I just didn't know what to write on the message. So I just did connections. So I was waiting for you maybe to guide us on
So did you just send a blank connection?
blank connection.
Okay, that's fine. If we don't get Sales Navigator, you kind of might have to do that anyway, to be honest. So LinkedIn, they've got this new thing where they're trying to push everybody to subscribe for something. So they give you, I think it's only 10 a week or 10 a month, and they give you 200 characters if you want to leave a note. If we've got Sales Navigator, that changes things quite a lot for us. Then we're actually able to write a lot more in the messages. So Lucas, you missed the first bit of this. I just want to ask you, have you in the last 12 months used any of LinkedIn's premium tools, either on a trial or paid for Sales Navigator or LinkedIn Premium or anything like that?
Nope, I have
Cool.
not.
All right, cool. So we should get you guys all into a 2-month trial, which will be super cool. All right. Okay, that gives us a bit of a sense. And Masana, how's it going with you?
Hi James. I also missed last week's session, but I have dedicated this weekend to kind of catch up on everything and work on everything that I've missed. So I'll be doing that this weekend that's coming. But
Okay.
yeah, working a little bit on my profile and just fixing all the things that I need to fix. Yeah.
And from your perspective, also, in the last 12 months, have you taken a trial or paid for anything from LinkedIn?
I haven't.
You haven't? Okay, good. All right. And Carter, you're the only actor that's screwed. Everyone else is sitting pretty. Sorry about that. You'll have to ask them to lend you their login. So, all right. But that's kind of good news. Okay. So what I want to do then is let me jump in and let's just do a little bit of a recap because it was a while ago since we last spoke. I want to talk to you a bit today about messaging. What I'm thinking, actually going through all of this, maybe soon, I should actually have a one-on-one session with all of you, so I can really get to grips and just make sure that everything is like it should be. Because you guys technically, especially after today, you should have everything that you really need, right, in order to get out there and to crush it. Hang on a sec. I just want to move some stuff over to my other screen. It's easier. So we'll talk about that maybe next week, where we get to do some one-on-one sessions. I'll just make sure that, as I say, everything is running smoothly, right? So I want to talk a little bit about messaging today. So let's just do a quick recap. So obviously we started off with our game plan, which is this, right? So first thing obviously we did is we tried to define our niche, our ideal client. So we all ticked that box, and then we created a message that's going to resonate with them, and we created the profile. So we used the GPT, which actually helped with all of these things, which was kind of cool. And we put something together. So a lot of when I do one-on-one, I just want to go through this and make sure that this is all 100%, and that you've got your niche / your avatar really dialed in. Okay, so a lot of our focus up until here has been on this first part. Then last week we obviously started to speak about the audience. I'm going to going to talk to you a little bit more today because I'm going to show you some other cool stuff in order to do that. And when we start to do the messages, so I'm going to show you some cool stuff here. I'm going to talk a little bit about messaging today to help you with this, so that you guys can actually start. Right. So after today, you can start sending out messages, even if you do send blank connection requests, as we've discussed. That's actually all right, and I'll tell you why just now. So what then is going to happen is, as you start to send these messages, if you've got a good profile and people see the message, then they will say, okay, well, who's this person sending me the message? And typically then they will go back to your profile. So if the profile is good and you've done a good job there, they will be able to see in the profile what it is that you do. And if they are in the market for what you are selling specifically, right? Because you remember, you've targeted them intelligently, right? Because you've picked a specific niche, you've created a profile that talks to them. So there's a very good chance that they're going to be very, very targeted. If they are, there's a very good chance that they start a conversation with you that you can take to the next level, can help you to book a meeting with people, because that's really the goal, right? And so the two messages that I'm going to talk to you about today typically get us 30 to 40% of our leads that we get, not the leads, the actual conversations where we get to speak to people. And the reason for that is because when they get the connection request, they say, who's this person? They go and they have a look. So the first message, they look the first time. When you send a follow-up message, which we'll get into later, they look again, right? And the follow-up message is very cool. I'll show you what it looks like. So when they look again, what they're starting to see is, oh, okay, this is what this person does. And so invariably, they actually start the outreach to you, because all you've done is you've positioned yourself as a person that can help. You've put yourself in front of them, and then they're saying, oh, actually, I do have that problem. Can you help me? That's the whole game here. Right. So you can see that everything we've done is very specific and it's very targeted. So if we get that right, that's what enables us to get these sort of response rates when we start sending connection requests. Okay. So our goal was to get to the first 5 steps in this process. The next level up is email, all right, which again you guys can use manually, but it's not really the whole purpose. The real point of being able to use email is to automate it so that you can move the process forward. But you could still do it manually, because email helps you tremendously where people are not always on LinkedIn every day, they're in their emails. So if you're emailing people in addition to getting them to connect with you on LinkedIn, you have much better response rate. You can see we double and sometimes we triple the amount of meetings we get if we use email. But not really the point for now. I'm just telling you that it's available. But the first 5 steps is really what we're trying to do, because that in and of itself should start to build you connections, right? So that's game plan in terms of what we're doing. We spoke about defining the ideal client, and we're looking at all of these pieces, and we've been sort of piecing this together as we've gone along week by week. We showed you this idea of the jar of jelly beans to help you to find your ideal client and your niche. We did a whole bunch of homework stuff where we did this existing client analysis to have a look to see, well, are there any clues? And remember, in that, you might not have liked the clues. Like some of you, that when you looked at the clues, it told you this is who I've dealt with before, but suddenly you now have access to LinkedIn, which you didn't have before. So sometimes you might look at the clues and say, you know what, actually, I don't want to deal with these people. This is hard work. Let me rather deal with these people. Okay. But this was a great place for you to start, because if you already have clients, that shows that you have success there already. And then we spoke about these various ways, looking at industry, looking at specifically your internal skills as a financial advisor. We looked at your ideal client, where we used the GPT a little bit for that, with some analysis, and then you've got the personal attributes. And then we just said, okay, well, do we have a problem that's worth solving? Yes, we do. Is the niche profitable? Yes, it is. Are they easy to find? So this is just something we need to check. For most of you, the answer to that will be yes. And then what's the competition like? We don't care. We just need to know there is competition, because it shows that that there's money in the market. The homework part 2 was to do those niche selection questions, which helped quite a lot, because then based on that, we were able to take that information and stick it into the GPT, so that we could create the profile, right? So that's what we did. We then spoke about the biggest problems that you solve okay, specifically for your niche? What were the client criticals? So what are the things that are going to make them actually take their credit card out and pay money for something that you sell, right? What is that? And then we created the message, right? So the message on LinkedIn being the headline that is hopefully going to resonate with the people. So we started off by looking at all the problems that we solved, and then we looked at this roadmap of the people that go through the various stages, and typically how it sort of relates to us as financial advisors. And you can probably pick your niche and sort of fit them in somewhere, and it will show you hopefully how to get a lot more of a sense of what the right products are to sell and how to promote them to people. And from there we spoke about the client criticals, which is this idea of saying, what are they going to pay for? We'll rank that, and then how do we communicate it to them? Okay, so we have a metric or a result, and how long does it take them to get the result, right? Because when you solve problems and you show people that, so that they can say, okay, my money is well spent, as opposed to, oh, it's just another insurance salesman trying to sell me a policy, right? We want to be helpful. This is what enables us to do this, and then from here we could create the actual magic message or a headline. And we followed this formula where we said, if I could give you a result I know you 100% really want, it's the big problem that you solve in a specified amount of time, and then we want to remove an objection. Okay, what are the things that they always say when you're trying to sell them something? Just remove it, get rid of it, squash that objection right here in your magic message. So you eliminate something they hate, and then the end of your question is, would you be interested? And the reason I like this is because when you ask a question, it's known as opening a loop, and the human mind has to answer it. It can't just ignore it. Then we got into the profile itself. We spoke about the 5 key sections, so the banner, and on the banner, like calling out to our ideal client. We want to have a good profile picture that clearly shows us, having a very clear magic message. So the message that lets people know exactly what you do. I could give you a certain result in a specified amount of time, etc. Right? Would you be interested? Then we've got the about section, and a lot of this was you were helped out by the GPT, right? Gave you a lot of that information because you filled out that worksheet, which was very specific to you. So each individual person, even though you use the same GPT, you've got a very specific answer. And in there was a little bit about your story, about what you can do, a little bit of personalization. And this is really just sort of building the bond with the people that you're going to speak to. And then the experience section is all about what is the experience that you have. So not the stuff that's on the Momentum website, but what is your personal experience that you have to be able to substantiate this value proposition in number 3 that you have each made to help the specific ideal client that you've spoken to. Okay, that was the goal there. And then we looked at creating a banner with the different pieces to it. So having an underlying image, having some text and things on top, using our little what specialist of the wet industry formula, so that you can put some text on there to let people know they're in the right place. We looked at our profile pic. We looked at what was bad and what was good. And then we spoke about the about template. Again, the GPT did this for you, but like a lot of this is like really important information. If you look at your profile and you're ever wanting to tweak it in the future, remember we had the opening hook and the value proposition statement. So this is the piece that's above the see more button, so that people know exactly what you do, so that it entices them to click. And then we can tell them a little bit about your personal story, a little bit more about what you do. So expanding your quote unquote value proposition. Why should they believe you? All right. Why can you help them? Some credibility builders, a little bit of personal relatability if you've got space. Tell them a few interesting things about yourself, and then call to action. What must they do? They must book a call with you. That's what they must do. I showed you some examples of that, and then we got into the experience section, which was really all about obviously linking you to the company, and then having your job title. So we said that people search on LinkedIn for job titles, and so the best way for you to create a job title was to think long and hard about what people would search for if they were looking for you. All right, and to try to make this as comprehensive as you can. You've got 75 characters, put in as many as you can so that you increase your opportunity of being found. And then we got into the description, which kind of looked like this, where we describe what you did, who your ideal client is, and then you're going to list your products and services, and a call to action again. Right? This is how you get hold of me, phone me, get on my calendar, or whatever. And obviously, I've given you some homework to do, which was to fill out the workbook. That is just to get you thinking, and then we also gave you the GPT. Okay, so the GPT really helped a lot. We did this a bit differently because the first time I gave you a GPT, it took you forever. So I said, all right, fill out these questions, and then we were able to take the questions and just like basically import them into the GPT as you guys sort of find the answers. Then we finalized the profile. So again, that was going through the GPT, which gave you a headline, gave you a few options for your headline, gave you the banner text, wrote the about section, and wrote the experience section. Okay. And so again, it was just a case of saying, okay, of that, what do we like? And taking that which we like, and then obviously creating the profile. So this is what I'd like to go through with each of you individually, just to see that this is actually ideal, and talk to you a little bit about your ideal client. Make sure that we're all happy with that, and then when it comes to then really finding them in the messaging, it's much easier to dial that in. Right, we were formatting our profile, so this was how to make things bold and how to add emojis, right? So you've got all of that stuff. And then we started last week, or the last time, with the session on finding your audience. Okay, so we first spoke a little bit about connection strategy, and this was this idea of connecting with people that can link you to your ideal clients, or reaching out to your ideal clients directly. We then also spoke a little bit about the various filters that we could use. And so if you guys can all get Sales Navigator, then I'll do a proper Sales Navigator walkthrough with you guys, sort of from top to bottom, and you'll see really how awesome it is to use. So hopefully Chris will, and not just Chris, I'll ask all of you, if any of you know one of your colleagues that has got Sales Navigator, that wouldn't mind just giving everybody else access. They don't have to do anything. It doesn't cost them anything. They just go in and send you a link. Then we can get it set up, and we can do a whole session on that. You'll see how valuable it is. So remember, these were the types of filters, and here we have the basic filter. So this is what we've got in LinkedIn, and you can see that we're limited a lot compared to Sales Navigator. So this is the difference. Okay. And also, a lot of you will have experienced that problem of not being able to send a connection request with 300 characters because you don't have a paid subscription somewhere. So LinkedIn can be a little bit painful like that. But today we'll talk about how to get, well, not how to get around it, but what to do if that is the case. So we have to do plan B, and then we'll talk about plan A. So if you guys all get Sales Navigator, then we'll also be able to up the limits. And it will help you with the connection requests and things as well. So we'll get into that. But as you can see, these are the different filters that one can use. For a lot of you, if you're just using LinkedIn, you'll need the keyword filter, the location. For most of you, it'll be South Africa, but you could be a little bit more specific if you're wanting people in a specific province or a specific town. Industry, this isn't always the best filter, but it's a good place to start. Job title is very important. Okay, this is the one that if you know what the job title is of the person that you are trying to find, this will really help tremendously. Okay, seniority levels. So if you're looking for owners or partners or directors, those are quite useful. Because it'll tell you, who are the owners, who are the CEOs, who are the directors, etc., etc. So depending on the type of decision maker you're trying to find, that's quite useful. The reason I say these are limited is not that you can't use them, but they're not easy. On Sales Navigator, there's a button, you just click it. So like job titles, you have to know what they are. On LinkedIn, they're all preloaded. On Sales Navigator, sorry, they're all preloaded for you. So it's not that you can't use it. And then groups, which I'm going to talk to you about a little bit more today. So you can see we're a lot more limited on LinkedIn, but that doesn't include us, right? we're actually able to do a lot of stuff just on basic LinkedIn. And then of course we've got Sales Navigator, which is a lot stronger. So let me just pull this back quickly. Do you guys have any questions so far? Hopefully that's been a relatively comprehensive summary of where we're at the moment. Gert, are you wanting to ask a question?
Yes. I just want to ask, when do you suggest we, what do you call it, start that 1 month trial period free? Is that automatically?
I would
is
start.
Is that going to include the sales manager? What you're referring to?
No, that is it. So what I suggest that we do it all together. So let's make sure we can get access, and then we all access it at the same time, and then I do a training. So you literally, even the day we do the training might be the day to access it. So what you will all need, just to get Sales Navigator, to take the trial, you need a credit card, okay? Because if you don't put credit card details in, they won't give you access. But LinkedIn are very good. They'll give you a warning. I think 7 days before, they'll definitely let you know. And to cancel it, you just go into your Sales Navigator and you can cancel. It's not a big story. So you'll get a full 3 months trial, but just know you do need a credit card to sign up. But LinkedIn are not scaly like some of the other people. They won't just take your money without telling you. If you do decide, for example, after the 2 months that actually I like this, I'm going to keep it, then you just do nothing, and then they'll bill you, and your access will continue. If you don't want it, you just literally click a button and it stops.
But I'm a bit slow. Just repeat. So that the 1 month trial period, that's something different from Sales Manager.
No. So it is the trial that you will get of Sales Navigator.
Okay.
Okay. So if we know somebody, so let me show you what this looks like quickly. So if I'm on, hang on, help if I share this with you. Hey, let me just get back to. Right. So when I'm in my account, right, and I go to Sales Navigator, this is what I see. So Sales Navigator has got a lot more filters than LinkedIn. So on Sales Navigator, we've got all of these filters. We're on LinkedIn. I just have to. Let me just get in here. The easiest way to activate LinkedIn filters is just to click something. Then I have to go to people. And then I go to all filters. Okay, so those are the filters that we have available on LinkedIn. Okay, so as you can see, they're a little bit limited compared to all of these filters here that we have. So not only do we have lead filters, we have account filters as well. So these are different filters for companies, which you don't have on LinkedIn. You only have this on Sales Navigator, right? So we've got a lot more going on here. So if I'm on Sales Navigator, whether I'm looking at leads or companies, the person who has the Sales Navigator account has this little present icon over here. Now, typically, you can see it says referrals. If I click on this and I type somebody's name in here, right? So if I go to chat, for example, typically what it's doing is it's picking up my first level connections, right? So there's chat. So if I click on chat and it hasn't shown me a toffee, which it hasn't, means okay, chat is eligible, because if chat wasn't eligible, it would just come up with an error message. Now, the reason I cannot send this to him is because I have exceeded my limit on referrals. So LinkedIn allows everybody to give 10 referrals and then another 5. Then for some reason it stops. Ask me why, I couldn't tell you. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like every single person I've ever referred has bought bought Sales Navigator, yet now they don't want me to give it away anymore. It's like, how stupid are you? Anyway, so that's the reason I can't give it to you. But if somebody else has got it, they've got 10 and then another 5, and most people don't care, right? So if we can find a colleague and then you'll have to connect with them so that they're first level connection, and this is how they do it. Then when they send it to you, you'll see it as a message from them. It just comes up as a normal LinkedIn message, and you click on the link and then you just go and sign up for the trial. It'll take you to exactly where you need to go. You input your credit card details. Thanks for coming. Done. You have access, and then you're into this. You'll be into this Sales Navigator interface. You've got, as you've seen, a lot more options than you do by just looking at this. Okay. Does that make sense? Brad, good?
Yes, thank you.
All right, cool. All right. So what I'm going to do, let's not do that. Let me pull this back for a second. I need to go to the toilet like urgently. So I'm going to do that, and then I will I'll then get into talking to you. I'm going to show you some other stuff before this. I'm going to talk to you about other ways. So last week what I did is I showed you how to find people using the LinkedIn filters. Today I'm going to show you some really uber cool stuff. So this uber cool stuff works on LinkedIn and a little bit on Sales Navigator, but I did this specifically to be focused on LinkedIn. And there's one or two of these things you actually have to do on LinkedIn. You can't do it on Sales Navigator, which is weird. So give me 2 seconds and I'll be back in just a touch. All right, let's talk about some interesting things. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is this concept of what we call Boolean search. Now, a lot of you have probably used this on Google, but there's some specific ways that we need to use it on LinkedIn. So before I get into this, let me explain something to you. So think about when you are searching on LinkedIn, right, and you're using the filters, and it doesn't matter if you're using the LinkedIn filters or you're on Sales Navigator. The way you want to think about this is LinkedIn's got this big database of people. So according to them, it's over 1 billion people. I guess it's probably around about 1.2 billion people today. In South Africa, as we saw, there's somewhere between 13 and 14 million. So for most of us, that's our target market, right? Now, when you go onto LinkedIn and you create a profile, we all have the same template that we fill in, if you think about it. So because it's got a template and the information in the template's in exactly the same place for everybody, it can now create a database, right? Because it knows exactly where to pull the data from, because every single person is uniform and it's unique. So now what LinkedIn has got is they've now got a database, right, that they can pull all the information from all of our individual profiles. So that's how they create the filters, because every filter that's on LinkedIn will go to a specific place on our profiles in order to pull the data into that database. Hopefully that's starting to make sense. So sometimes when you use a LinkedIn filter and you type something in, you can kind of reverse engineer. Okay, I've typed this in, and then you get strange results, and you say to yourself, my goodness, why did LinkedIn or Sales Navigator put this person into my search? And then what you can do is you can reverse engineer it, because you can look at what's happened on the profile or at the search, and then you go back to the profile, and then you could try to find and connect the dots. But also, if you think about it this way, it also allows you to think outside the box a little bit when you're trying to find people, because you know who you're trying to find, and now you're able to take different information. And I'll show you a few examples of what I mean in just a bit. You can find people. So just think of it as this database that pulls information from different places on our LinkedIn profile. Okay. Now, that's the first piece I want you to understand. The second piece is that when LinkedIn uses these filters, it pulls information from different places on the profile. So when you use this search box up here on LinkedIn and this search box here on Sales Navigator, which is essentially the same thing, what it's going to do is it searches the entire profile, right? So if I type the word accountant in here, for argument's sake, it's going to bring up everybody that has the word accountant somewhere on their profile, okay? You can probably see a little bit of a problem with this. It might not be that they may not be accountants today, or they might have been an accountant 3 jobs ago, right? So you're starting to understand that if you use this search box here, which most people use as a default, it's quite broad. And that's why sometimes when you search, you get a lot of rubbish that populates your search. You're looking at it saying, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm looking for accountants, but this person is is an accountant, but not in an accounting firm, or they're a bookkeeper, or they're a trainee, or they're a PA to the accountant. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. So sometimes you need to be very specific, and that's the problem with this. Other times it'll go just to one specific little block on the profile. Sometimes it'll look at a whole section on a profile. Okay, but this here is a problem. So that's the first thing you want to be aware of. So it's like going onto Google and searching for accountant, right? You're going to get like millions and millions and millions of results, and a lot of them will not be very very pertinent to you. So again, the more context you can give it, it's the same sort of concept as with AI, right? So the more specific you can be, the better the results you're going to get. So therefore, I don't love to put things like accountant or financial advisor, so my niche in here, because it's just very, very broad. So what should you then do with this, right? This is actually still a very valuable filter, but it's more valuable to do something else, which we call Boolean search. Boolean search is a much more productive use of the search filter than using it for a very broad search term. So Boolean search definition is, right, it's a type of search that allows users to combine keywords. So a keyword, remember, is either it's a single word or it's a string of words. So accountant is a keyword, but so is chartered accountant. And chartered accountant in Johannesburg is also a keyword, right? So when we talk about keywords, that's what we mean. So we combine keywords with operators, right? Or modifiers, as they call them. And you guys have probably done this on Google before, maybe to a lesser degree. There's some very specific ways we have to do it. And there's 3 words in particular on LinkedIn, and they must be in capital letters to work on LinkedIn. Okay, on Google, it doesn't matter, but on LinkedIn, if you don't put these in capital letters, it doesn't work. So there's the word and, the word not, and the word or. Okay, so what now happens is, remember, we're combining these keywords, right? So instead of just saying accountant, we say accountant, and then we put some of these modifiers in so that we can get a better quality of accountant, the one that we're looking for. So here's an example. So I say hotel and New York. So what this means, because I've used the word and, the word hotel and the word New York must be in the listing. So if there's a hotel in San Francisco, it's not going to come up in my search, right? If there's a hostel in New York, that's also not going to come up in my search, because I wanted hotel. I've got to specifically have these words because I've got the word and in there. They both must be on there, right? So clearly this is something that's going to limit the search. So here's the key thing down here, right? Boolean becomes really powerful when you combine it. So in other words, this idea of combining keywords with operators, that's the Boolean, and you combine that with the other filters. So all of that other stuff that we did before. So I'm going to show you some examples, and hopefully the penny will drop. This is the real power of using Boolean search, is combining it with the search filter. So last week, the reason I wanted you guys to go and play is to see, well, what's it like? What sort of results am I getting with the filters? And then I thought, okay, this week I'll ratchet it up a level for you so you can get some really, really cool results. So let's have a look at Boolean search. So the first thing you need to be aware of is the use of quotes or inverted commas, right? So This is what we call exact phrase, and for those of you that have played around on Google, you'll know about exact phrase. So you're going to enclose your search phrase in quotation marks. So, for example, the word chartered accountant. If I want to chartered accountant and I want it to be exactly in that order, the word chartered followed by the word accountant, I must put it in inverted commas. So what happens if I don't? Okay. Now, if I don't, fortunately, the search engines, whether it's Google or whether it's LinkedIn, they're quite clever today. They've come a long way. They will start off by giving me all the results for chartered accountant, but then they're going to start to give me all sorts of crappy things. Anywhere where I've got the word chartered, because it's going to pick up, if I don't have inverted commas, it's going to pick up the word chartered, and it's going to pick up the word accountant, and it's going to pick up the keyword chartered accountant. So there's 3 options. So chartered could be chartered secretaries or chartered ship company. Clearly, I'm not looking for them. So the golden rule is, if you have two words or more, just put it in inverted commas. Okay, if you're trying to do a search. And typically, as I say, it will be exactly in that particular order. So chartered accountant or certified public accountant. If you don't, it really skews your results. Okay, so this is the basics. Just do that. So if you use quotation marks and you want to find someone with a multi-word job title like this, the next thing is the operator called not. This personally is the one I use the most. Okay. And so as you will see again, we have not, must be in capital letters. And in order to invoke it, you use the word not immediately before the search that you want to exclude. So the word should tell you, I do not want this to be in my search. So in that example that I gave you earlier, right, where I say I want accountants, but I don't want bookkeepers. So I type the word accountant and then I say not bookkeeper. So if somebody is a bookkeeper, there might be a bookkeeper and an accountant, but I don't want bookkeepers. It will exclude all of those results. Okay. And the way that this typically works, and maybe we can look at an example just now, is you do a search and then you start looking at the search and you think, oh, there's some rubbish in here, hey? Okay, I don't want bookkeeper. Then you start off and you say accountant, not bookkeeper. And then you read some more and it says trainee. You say, oh shit, I don't want a trainee. Then you say not trainee. You add. So I've got accountant, not bookkeeper, not trainee. And you just keep adding more and more. So eventually what's happening is that the quality of your search becomes better and better because you keep excluding the rubbish that you don't want to be in there. And then you can save that search term. So later, if you do the search again, you can go and you can copy and paste it back in, and you know immediately it's going to exclude all the rubbish because you spent the time the first time building out this Boolean search. Okay, so another pro tip for you: as you create good Boolean search, save them somewhere so you can reuse them. Okay, so that's the not Boolean search. Then you've got or. So or, as you can see, it broadens the search result. So again, must be capital letters. So you put or in front of the search phrase to see that it can include one or more items on the list. So in this example here, where we've got accountant or audit or bookkeeper, any one of those words triggers the search, right? So if it's got accountant, but it doesn't talk about auditor or bookkeeper, it's cool, I'm in. If it's got only auditor, it's still in my search, or only bookkeeper, it's in my search. Or obviously if it's combined, it'll also be in. So or also becomes quite useful. I'll show you some examples in a minute to use it, but typically you might say, okay, well, give me, so as you know, I deal with accountants and financial advisors, right? So I could say, give me accountants or financial advisors, right? Typically, if you've got a very small target market, then you might use it. I like to use it more to exclude, and I'll show you what I mean in just a sec. Then we've got the and. So we touched on and a little bit earlier. Again, capital letters. What it's going to do, it will limit the search results, because in this particular case, all 3 of these words have to be on that profile. Otherwise, it's not coming up. So if the word accountant and finance is there, but not the word CPA, ain't going to come up, right? Has to be every single word. So if it's important for you, that's what you're going to do. And then the last piece, just to round off how to use these Boolean search filters, is obviously just to have the bracket. So for those of you, I know this might be close to home, but think about when you were doing maths and algebra at school. This is really all this is. It's just an algebraic equation, right? And not a rocket science one. So what we're then doing is we are just combining all the Boolean searches we've looked at before with brackets. So in this particular case, I want to find people who are an accountant, right? They've got the word accountant in the profile, but I want to exclude trainee and intern, right? Then what I do is I type the word accountant, obviously, and then I say not, because I'm about to exclude. And then I could have said not trainee, not intern, or and this is the preferred way. I open up the brackets and I say not trainee or intern, and then I can keep adding to this, or clerk or bookkeeper or whatever, right? And that's how you keep growing your string. So this is very, very useful, adding brackets. And so this is the order in which it happens. So if you create a Boolean search and it's not working, just sort of look at this. It's actually very logical and obvious, right? So the first thing it's going to look at is quotes, because it must get your keywords together. So that's the first thing it does. Then it looks at the brackets, then it deals with the word not, then it deals with the word and then it deals with the word or. But it's fairly obvious, as you will see. But if you do have an issue, that's the sequence. Okay. Let me just pull this. Any questions so far? You're all with me, all happy?
Happy.
All happy.
Okay. All right. So now let's see why this is cool. So here's some clever ways for you to start using this. Now, one of the reasons that we chose a niche, okay, was because when you have something that's niche specific, it really helps you phenomenally when it comes to marketing. So the first thing that you're going to find is that a lot of niches have some sort of association. In fact, I don't think you'll find a niche today that doesn't have an association. Okay, and an association is typically some sort of membership organization. It can be mandatory, like for accountants, IRBA, who are the audit regulator. You have to, if you're a registered auditor, you have to be a member of IRBA, right? But like the other accounts, like SAICA, South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, South African Institute of Public Accountants, Professional Accountants, sorry, CIBA, all of those are voluntary institutions, right? Where people who are accountants will join them. So this is a great way to find people. So if you're struggling to find people because your other search terms are not working for you, if I'm trying to find an accountant, right, and I type in, because I know that people who are members of SAICA will probably reference that somewhere on their profile. So they might say SAICA, SAICA, or they might spell the whole thing out, the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. So I could go, if I'm looking for accountants, because who else is going to put that on their profile other than an accountant, right? And other than a chartered accountant, because other accountants have got their own institutes, right? They're going to put their own stuff there. So by using the Boolean search, so I could have said accountants, right? And then I could have said and, because I wanted to have, and then I'd open my brackets and I'd say SAICA or, and then inverted commas, South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. And then I'd close the bracket, right? So now what it's going to do is it's going to show me all accountants that are members of SAICA or have mentioned SAICA somewhere in the profile, right? So can you see how suddenly I'm very specific? So if you can identify different associations that your people are members of, this is a great way to find them on LinkedIn. Okay. The other thing is software. Everybody and their dog has software today. Okay, there is software specific for every industry under the sun. Okay, you guys have specific software. Everyone does. Accountants again. The one you guys all know, Xero, right? That's an accounting software. That's very specific. Sage. If you start to get to stuff that's even more specific, there's a product called Caseware, for example. That's a product that accountants use to draw financial statements, right? Most people wouldn't use Caseware. I wouldn't even know what the hell that is. But if I go and I type Caseware, because someone might say I'm a Caseware expert, right? Because they were listing that as part of their skills. If someone says that, guess what? I know they're an accountant. So this is a way for me to find people that are in my niche, right? Xero, for example, for accountants, there's different levels that they can achieve. So they become partners. You know, and they partners at different levels. You know, I'm a gold level, I'm a premium level partner. I'm a this partner. I'm a that partner. So again, I can actually find out, based on how high they've, what sort of partnership level they've managed to attain, I can make a good estimation of how many clients they've got, right? Because in order to grow your steps, you need more clients. So this is how you think outside the box, is when you know your industry really well, you're able to use something as simple as the software they would use to go and find them. Okay. So as you can see, those first two examples I gave you, they're very specific to my niche. And your niches will be exactly the same. You might have to do some research. Ask ChatGPT, hey, this is my niche. What associations would they be members of in South Africa? And it will tell you. Okay, right? It's not rocket science. Just ask. This is the rocket science, is knowing how to use it. Ask them what software they typically use. Designations or job titles. So again, very similar to, not everyone will have this, but some will. So start with designations. So an accountant who's a member of SAICA has a designation called Chartered Accountant SA or CASA, right? If they do not pay this association money, they cannot put the designation behind their name. So I technically am not a CSA. I passed everything, I've done it, but because I don't pay these people, because I don't need to anymore, because I don't practice, because I don't pay them, technically I cannot say I'm a CA. I can say I qualified as a chartered accountant, and that is good enough. But I literally cannot say, hey, I'm a current chartered accountant, because I don't pay the stupid association fee. But all of the guys that are in practice, they will do that because they must, right? And then they can display SAICA, CIPA, cyber, all those designations. So again, if you know what the designations are, and if you don't, ask ChatGPT to tell you the designations of your ideal niche, and they will tell you. And then you go and you search for them, right? A lot of people, and you'll see that they'll say, "This is my name," and then and then they'll say CFP or CASA or something along those lines. So designations are cool. And obviously, if you know the job titles, that also works. So different niches are going to have some very specific job titles that are only relevant to their niche. And if you have a job title that is only relevant, like if you're in the oil and gas and, there's some specific job title to do with, oil and gas administrator or oil and gas compliance officer, for example. If you type that in, you would find very specific people, right? And if you're trying to find very specific people, typing in the job titles, and think about job titles, how do people describe themselves? Most people are not very creative, right? If I say to you, what do you do? Most of you will tell me I'm a financial advisor. Okay, so that's my job title. I might be financial advisor at Momentum, sure. Right, that could also be something I want. So if I'm looking for specific companies, again, you can see you can just keep adding to this. So I'm just giving you some ideas of how to use this, but anything that's specific to your niche, you can use. Okay, which is kind of the last point here. So if I want to find everybody that works at Momentum, I just go and I select Momentum, type that in, and it'll just give me people that have mentioned Momentum on their profiles. Okay. So let's stop here. Actually, let's do this. What aha moments have you guys had? Let's apply this quickly and have a look. Kitimitsu, how have you seen that? What's come to mind? Firstly, tell us your niche and give us one example of how you think you might use it based on what we've just seen. I'll tell you what, I will move this. Let me move this away so that you can continue to see that. I'll put this on the other screen. Are you there? Or are you in hiding?
Can you hear me?
Okay, so tell us. Give us one example of how you'd use this. Okay, so who's your niche?
Yeah, so it's like single mothers who are like entry level professionals. So, job titles. Yeah, I would try to find like maybe entry level job titles, and then see if they have children. I'm
The
thinking,
single mothers, right? Okay, so single mothers, are they likely to be part of associations? No, but they're probably likely to be part of other groups, right? So if it's not an association, what is it? Right? And we're going to talk about groups just now, actually. So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but anywhere where they would congregate, like anywhere where you can find a lot of them, right? So you want to think about that. Are moms going to use software? They might. So there's school software, right, that mothers have to have. There's probably other software. So let's ask. Let's ask. Why not? Let's ask our good friend here, ChatGPT. Give me examples of software that mothers with school kids would use. And in fact, we will do this both on ChatGPT and on Perplexity. All right, so let's go. Let's have a look. Scheduling and positivity apps, Google Calendar. I don't know what Cozy is, but there you go. There's something. Time Tree. Chore management apps, communication and safety apps, finance and budgeting apps, educational and home apps, right? So you need to go do some research, find out which are the ones, where do the moms that you are looking at hang out. Look at this, it goes on for days, right? Go Kid, carpool, right? You guys see how easy this is? Is that just like apply the mind, ask ChatGPT, and then go find the right ones, and then you go back. So I don't know what's Go Kid. Who knows? Let's see. What is this thing called? I don't know. This might be a spectacular failure. I don't know. So we get here. I put Go Kid, and I go. Let's see if this comes up at all. What do I want? I want people. 64 people. She's the CEO, so you should be connecting with her because she's got access to moms, right? Let's just do. I don't know if she's in South Africa. She might not be. Let's just do this quickly. So sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. You got one mom. That's it. Oh, she used to be a driver there. Okay, so that one was a bust. But this is the idea. You just sort of keep going, right? Because you're using it up here as a search. And maybe what I could have done, right? I could have actually done a Boolean search instead. So it's Go Kid, right? Or whoops, I've got to put that in caps. Don't forget, got to be in caps. Or Uber Family, that won't help us. Headspace, MyFitnessPal. I'm trying to find things that are very specifically related to kids. Meal planning, yeah, probably not. Solves math problems by taking a picture. Yeah, photo math. Let's try that. And then I would also have to close that, and then we go again. Let's see, a couple more, right? Now you just keep playing this game, and you get access to different people. And so this is a really good way to go ahead and use it. Okay, so cool. Designations, job titles, maybe not that easy because it doesn't relate specifically to your niche. So you have to use it wherever. And then you got to try and think outside the box, right? Where do moms go? What do they do? What do they buy? Those sorts of things. Okay, cool. Nkata, what about you? So remind us of your niche and then tell us what jumped out at you.
Yeah, my niche changed over time. Remember, I had my niche because of the type of clients I already served and also what I already worked in.
Yeah.
But once we established that, because of my profile and everything, you said, no, look, you can look into banking because that's where is your background and all of that. So my niche then changed to that. And then I also remembered that there are a lot of guys in banking, especially in retail sector, those that are on commission, that they don't save enough for retirement because their basic is too little. So it's their retirement percentage is based on that, but the amount of money they make is higher. So that's started to be my niche, or that started to be my focus.
Cool.
So yeah, that's where I'm going to start.
All right. So are there banking associations?
No, they don't necessarily. Well, there are banking associations, but those ones that those job titles that I'm looking into is they just sales executives and all of that.
Okay. So no, do they software? Is there software that they use?
No, not specifically.
Okay. Do they have specific designations?
Yes, they are external. Well, they call them now at a certain bank. They call them external advisors, but they are external sales consultants.
Okay,
and
so
BDMs.
So that helps you with the job title, right? So there could be a few, because like different banks might call them different things, right? So as you find new ones, you keep adding them in. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, anything else that's specific. Okay, so you're starting to see, right, how all of this is working together. And the more you play with this, the more stuff you will notice. Okay. And I'll show you some interesting ways to sort of do this research and to build this muscle in just a bit. All right, cool. Well done. Lucas, how about you? Lucas, are you there?
Yes, sorry, I'm just doing a school drop off now. I'll reply to you. I'm just collecting my daughter quickly.
All right, cool. Gert, what about you? Anything jumped out at you here?
Yes, so I'm still going to stick with principal officers, trustees, and then there's key role players. CISA, there's BATSITA.
There you go. There you go.
And then I think that is then obviously, I think that is going to be my focus more. Those, and then secondarily, members on retirement funds. I mean, but for now, it's only going to be get access to, so all the CISA members and BATSITA members, I think going to be the breakthrough, because everybody has to belong to BATSITA or ASISA.
There you go. All right, cool. Okay, that's it. All right, well, that's how to use it. So hopefully this is getting you guys thinking a little bit in terms of how to use it. This is very powerful, right? Particularly number 4, because number 4 is like literally anything you can think of. So anytime you learn something new about your niche, you note it down and say, okay, well, can I use that on LinkedIn? Right. Let's talk about some specific filter concepts. Okay. So when you do a LinkedIn search, LinkedIn is going to show you 1,000 results and Sales Navigator 2,500. So it doesn't matter. Let's just get this thing up again. If you are on LinkedIn, let's get rid of this. Let's just type accountant. So if I do the search for accountants, right, you will see, I go for people. LinkedIn is telling me that there's 9.2 million results, okay, which is cool. But if I scroll down, you'll see it shows me up to page 100. If I go to page 100 and there's 10 on a page, that's it. They're not showing me anymore. So it's all very well. Thanks for telling me there's 9.2 million, but they're only going to show me 1,000. Okay. Sales Navigator pulls the same stunt. Except with Sales Navigator, let's do the same thing. So Sales Navigator tells me there's 12 million, right? So you can see, obviously, because we pay for Sales Navigator, we get more. But if you scroll, you'll see there's 25 people on a page now. And And while they don't show you the last page, it's 100. You'd be shocked to know. So again, they're only going to tell us, they're only going to show us 2,500, but we know there's 12 million there, right? So that for me is a problem. So what do we do about that problem? Well, you want to use other filters to get to the limit. Because if I got 12,000 people, like I want to know who all 12,000 are. You can't tell me there's 12 and show me 2.5. No. I don't accept that. I need to know who they are. So the best way to do that is to then use the other filters to break it down. So for example, we'll keep everything the same, and then you'll just change one filter like head count. Okay. So again, if I go sort of back here, if I go to company head count, right, we'll see that of these 12 million people, right, 180,000 of them are self-employed. So if I click this now, I've got down to accountants that are self-employed. Right. So I've gone from 12 million to 180,000. Clearly still too much, but you get the picture. We're starting to be able to use these to narrow it down, right? So that's one example. So we could search self-employed, and then you could do another search for 1 to 10, another search for 11 to 50, etc. So going back here, you'll see once I've done these, then I could go here and I could get rid of self-employed. So I know that 1 to 10 I've got 910,000. So if I get rid of this, now I'm dealing with the people 1 to 10, right? And so it goes on. Now, obviously, let's just go to then make this geographically more relevant. So let's say I go to South Africa, because this will bring this down significantly. Then these numbers start to make a bit more sense. So suddenly I'm at 13,000, right? Now it's not quite so ridiculous anymore. And if I go back to my self-employed, there's 3,500. So I'm close now, right? 2,500 is what I'm shooting for. So I've nearly got them all. So I'm gonna start with the self-employed people. So that's the first thing. Then another good way is to segregate via connection levels. Before we get to connection levels, whoopsie, sorry, I did not mean to do that. I meant to go here. My favorite way, by the way, is actually going, funny enough, back to the geography here. Because when you go back to the geography, you can break it down into provinces. So in South Africa, you can go to provinces. So even here, right, if I'm starting with 9.2 million and I go to all filters and I go to locations, if I do South Africa, let's see what LinkedIn gives me. So LinkedIn gives us 129,000 results, so still too many, right? But if I say, all right, and I can either just go here back to location. So let's say I want Gauteng instead. So I'll click Gauteng and I'll remove South Africa, right? What happens now? So now I go from 129,000 down to 68,000. I still got too many, right? But at least it's getting less. So okay, let's not do that. Let's do Johannesburg, right? Let's see what happens. Let's get rid of Gauteng. If I want the Johannesburg metropolitan area, what do I have? Okay, it's getting closer. I'm still got too many, 55,000. All right, so let's try Edenvale. Edenvale. That one there. Let's get rid of Joburg. Let's see what do we have now. Now I've got 141. This I can work with. So technically, I could now break Gauteng up into smaller pieces. Okay, these are just examples of how to go about doing this. So it's definitely something that you want to do. Use the filters, break them down. If you need to get access to everybody, you're going to have to use some of the other filters that you play with, right? Remember LinkedIn, you only got 1,000. Sales Navigator is a bit better, 2.5. Okay. Talking about the filters, what I want to encourage you guys all to do is when you send connection requests, send them to second degree connections only. Okay. Here's why. There's actually a lot of really, really good reasons why you want to do that. Reason number one is LinkedIn likes it. Okay. LinkedIn really wants you to do that. Also, the way that the connection process is structured, if you're sending it to a second degree connection, right, that means by implication, both of you are at least connected to one similar or the same first level connection. So there's a reason to be connected. If you connect to somebody who's a third level connection, that means there are no other people that you're both connected to. So it feels a little bit strange, right? It's like we want to connect with people that we know. We know, okay, you're a second degree connection, means you connect to someone else in my network, therefore there's a better chance of you connecting. And you'll see that in the results. Okay, if you send to third level connections, your connection rate will be less. If you send to second, it will be more. Okay, so always try to do second degree. If your network starts off when it's a little bit small, that's okay. Then you do third to start with. But as soon as you get more people into your network, you'll find that your second degree connections grow astronomically. So let me show you this on my profile just to illustrate this point. And this is where niching really is good. So if let's say I'm in I'm in South Africa. Let's get rid of self-employed. Let's go to, actually all I need is South Africa. Let's get rid of accountant here. So if I show you this, just to show you the big picture, the only filter that I've put on right now is South Africa, right? So you see up here, let's get rid of this stupid thing. I've got 13 million people, right? There are 13 million people on LinkedIn. Stop it. Maybe just never mind. There's 30 million people on LinkedIn that are in South Africa. Okay, but if I go now to my connections and I show you how many first level connections do I have? Let's click on that. All right, I have 7,500. So if we look at my first level connections, you'll see if I go into my network and I look at my connections, you'll see I've got 12,200 connections in my network. Right. So Navigator tells me, because I've used the filters, that of that 7,500 of them are first level connections. Okay. So let's see how many second level connections do I have. So based on a small percentage of 7,500 people, because they connected to a network, so all of their first level connections, in other words, my second, I've now got 1 million people that are connected to me. And if I add in the last, the third, you will see now I have everybody, basically. Okay, so what I'm trying to illustrate to you here is that the bigger your connection, your first level connections become, the more your second and third grow. So you see it went from 7,500 to 1 million to 13 million. So it's an exponential growth. So your goal always is going to be to get as many first level connections as you can. And if you're connecting with your niche, your ideal clients, what's going to happen is they're going to connect with other people like them. So just for fun, let's do this. Let's see what this looks like. So if I type in, let's get rid of first level connections. Let's just go and say accountant. Right, so we do accountant. I could have said financial advisor. So we got 150,000 results, right? So let's go now and I say, okay, well, of those, how many are first degree connections? Let's see. Apparently 1,500. Fine. How many are second degree connections? 84,000. So at a second degree connection of the 150 odd, I'm connected to 84. I add the last bit, is probably everybody. Right, there you go. So when I was saying to you a little bit earlier over here, try to connect with second degree connections. If your target market is too small, so you don't have a lot of them, don't worry. Try thirds, but as soon as somebody connects, then suddenly their whole network comes into yours. So today you might do this exercise and you've got 37 second degree connections. Tomorrow you run exactly the same search because 5 people have connected with you, and suddenly you've got 280 because it's exponential. Okay, so try to stick to this if you can. It's only in the very beginning that you go for third, or your results will be much better. Third level, try not to use, and groups would be your, or actually groups are something that you can use. Ideally is to have second levels that are in groups that you're a member of. Okay, so hopefully that adds a lot of light onto this subject. All right. Any questions? Questions? Are you all good?
Good, thank you.
Well, all good, all good.
All right.
All good.
Okay. So the last thing I want to talk to you about in this section, then we're going to take over a break, is groups. Okay. So groups are awesome, right? Because Facebook's got them, LinkedIn's got them. So let's just stick with the accountant example as we've been running with that so far. Let's say that an accountant has joined a group that says that's social media marketing for accountants, for argument's sake, right? But if I go in and I type marketing for accountants, it'll bring up the group social media marketing for accountants. Now, if there's an accountant that's joined the group, guess what? That accountant has told me, listen, because I'm showing you by my actions, I've joined a group relating to social media marketing for accountants. I am interested in social media marketing. Okay. Because accountant is my niche, I can then make an educated guess that, well, if that person has told me they're interested in social media marketing because they've joined a group called Social Media Marketing for Accountants, specifically for accountants, that's probably a very good place for me to start my prospecting, isn't it? Because I know already in that group, because of the name of the group, they've given me a clue. So they've already told me one step closer that they're interested in social media marketing. And how is there really a big difference from social media marketing to what I'm doing, which is lead generation? It's probably just a different way of doing it. So you can see by using groups intelligently, you can find people. So like in the example of mothers, well, I promise you there's lots of groups related to mothers. Okay, so this is going to be a really good fertile hunting ground for you. That's how you know that they're moms. Example. So if I said, marketing for accountants, social media marketing for accountants, etc. So what you want to do is you want to join as many groups as possible. Groups are a little different. You remember I told you when you were doing connections, like only connect with your ideal clients as a rule. Groups you can be a little bit broader, so you can connect with your industry peers, because sometimes it's good to know what's going on. But most of your groups, 80% of them, should be related to your clients, right? So if you're targeting moms, go join all the groups with moms, right, and children. Those are going to be ideal. You might join one or two LinkedIn groups, or you might join one or two groups, that are in the financial services space. That's all right. But most of them should be there because, again, we're trying to find our ideal clients. You can only join a maximum of 100 groups, but 100's a lot. Eh? It really is a lot of groups, but you can join 100. If you join more than 100, then you have to withdraw a request and join another one, right? But if you do this properly, you probably won't get to 100. You can only have a maximum of 20 outstanding requests at a time. So what I suggest all of you do today is go and say, okay, this is my ideal client. Can I find groups with them in, and let me apply to join the group? Because most groups on LinkedIn are what is known as closed groups, which means that there's a group admin that actually has to receive your request and click a button to admit you to the group. Okay, so until that time, your request is outstanding. So if you send 20 and then you try to send number 21, LinkedIn says, no, you can't. You've exceeded the maximum. You can only have 20 outstanding. Now you have a choice. You either have to withdraw one of those that you sent, or you wait for one of them to accept you to open up a slot. Right. So what I would do is I'd go in and get this ball rolling and send connection requests or joining requests to 20 groups. Right. And then they'll come in over time. Then maybe at the end of the month, you go look at it again. And then all those people that haven't accepted you, just withdraw your requests there and go and grab a bunch of new ones, right? So that you can keep the process ticking over. Yeah, but this is the thing that stops you. But 20 is a good start, and a lot of people will accept you fairly quickly. You can send 15 messages per month for free to fellow group members. They don't even have to be connected to you, right? As long as they're in the same group as you and you've been a member of the group for 4 days, you can send them a message directly. It just goes into their inbox, no problem. It's not great. We used to be able to do this unlimited. Now it's 15, but still, 15 is 15 connections that you can send to somebody who you know is targeted, because you've used the group intelligently. So let's sort of show you a little bit of what this looks like. I'm actually gonna do this here on. So if I'm on LinkedIn, right, and I'm what did you send me? Big message. Well done. If we're on LinkedIn and we're going to do a search, whenever you type something into the search bar, so in this case, financial advisor, you will see that you have all of these options here. Okay, so it's not just people. You can use any of these options to find people that are relevant to you. So people is the main one, right? So obviously when you click people, what then happens is you can go to all filters as you've seen. So this is the one we all know and love that we use. Okay, but I have other options, right? So there's jobs I could use. Jobs not always particularly useful because it doesn't always get you to the person who's looking for the job, but it'll get you to the people who are posting jobs. So for some of us that works, not for all of us. Posts is quite a cool one, right? So if I look for posts and I'm looking for financial advisor, so Michael is hiring. And again, now I can go back to all filters and you'll see the filters change a little bit, right? And they change because I'm using a different, using a different item. But if I, again, would it be nice if I could do this in South Africa? So it's not letting me, come on. No, they don't. But if I'm looking for author keywords, so anything in the title or the author's name, you can find them here if you know who they are. So if you find people who consistently post content on the topics that you're looking for, you can pop them in here and then I'll show you all the posts related to that particular person. Okay. Again, related to an industry, etc. So there's a lot of interesting information, but maybe it's not financial advisor I want. Maybe I'm looking for people that are talking about pension funds, for example, right? So if I type in pension funds and if I follow the rules, I should be putting it in inverted commas. So I say pension funds, and of course I'm looking at posts. So now I'm going to see all the people posting about pension funds. Okay, so as part of my MBA, blah blah blah. This person's done a etc. etc. Right, now the key with this, right, is to go and find out. So let's say that this person is part of my MBA. I'm exploring intriguing question. Would appreciate your insights. What is the question? Would you change your pay structure? So maybe not. If this was something that was of interest to me, if I go in and I look at who's commented, right, I can see all the people that have commented. So if this post is something related to something important to me, I could then go in and I could connect with all of these people because I know that they're all interested in this particular the topic of this post. So if this was a post on lead generation, for example, and people were clicking on it, I could make the assumption that those people could be my ideal clients as well because they clicked on somebody else's post relating to it. Right. Anybody who has, unfortunately, if you're not running the poll, you can't use this information. But these are the people that have liked it. Okay. All these people like this post for whatever reason. So again, if this is a post that's resonating with me, I can click on it. I'm going to message all these people. Hey, I saw that you liked Clarity's post on changing your pay structure. It's also something that I'm quite interested in. Yeah, let's connect. Right. Very, very simple way to send a connection request and to speak to people. Let's see if there are any better ones, right? So this one here is good thinking. Yay, to add some perspective. New role, local government pension funds. Okay, so if I was looking for something there, retiring or resigning employees often don't know what their options are when it comes. This person is, I'm not sure if this is South African, but anyway, again, if they were, there's people that have commented, there's people that have liked it. Okay, so this is a way to think outside of the box and to find people. So post is a really good one, right? So any keywords that are related to your niche, we spoke about keywords and things a bit earlier. If you pop them in here, you will find posts, and posts will lead you to people that have commented, and those are ideal people to connect with because they've given you a signal that they are interested in it because they commented, they actually did something on a post that's related to something that you're interested in. Okay. Hopefully you guys are seeing some light bulbs here. Let's go back to financial advisor. Next thing is, so I've got posts, services, jobs, groups. I'll come back to groups just now. Courses, not that useful. You won't, not useful for us, but people that have got courses listed on their profile, particularly LinkedIn Learning, they'll be there. Products won't help you. Schools or universities. So if you're in a niche where people have gone to a specific school, so if you're doing teachers and there's a teacher training college, well, you want to know who went there. That'll tell you who all the teachers are. It's like, it's not rocket science. Sometimes that's pretty cool. Schools will also tell you who are graduates. Okay. If you're trying to find graduates, you click on schools. So if I go and I type in Wits, for example, all right, so I know that these are all the people. Hello. There we go. Nope. Here we are, University of the Witwatersrand. So if I go into Wits, now I've got all of the people that are alumni. So these are all people that went to Wits before, and it will give me a whole bunch of information about them. And here they all are. Okay. So again, if I wanted to find people that are let me see, where is this? If I want to, I can type in keywords here. So let's say I want financial advisors. Right? Then advisors now going to tell me apparently there are 1,386 financial advisors, which is somewhere on their profile, that went to Wits, and these are them. Okay, very powerful when you start to play with all this stuff, right? So that is, let's go back. That is schools. Events and groups are fairly similar. Let's go to groups quickly. So again, okay, I don't want an event with Wits, but maybe I want, let's try financial. I don't know. Let's try financial advisor. All right, so I've got groups with financial advisor. So look at this. When I type this into LinkedIn, it tells me there are 918 groups on LinkedIn with the word financial advisor in there. So the first one is Financial Advisor Network. I know it has 19,000 members. Okay, and there's a little bit of a description here. If I want to find out, then I'll open it. Okay. I also know I'm a member because it says view posts. Like this one down here, this IFA for professional networking group, I'm not. So let's open this one just for fun, and I'll show you the difference. Okay. So in this group that I am a member of, what you can see is I can see all the posts. So everybody that's a member of this group that posts in there, I can see them. Okay, they're in my group. Also, what I see here is that there are 1,465 members in this group. So these are people that have joined a group called Financial Advisor Network. Right? I have 237 of them on my connections. Now, if I click on Show All, it will show me all 18,465. Now, this is a bit of a stuff up because, as you can see, there's nothing more I can do with this. There's no other filters I can put in. This is as good as it gets. So I can scroll and I'll see the first, well, technically I can see them all, but you will scroll for days. But there they are, right? They're in your group. If you have Sales Navigator, right? So this group called Financial Advisor Network, if you have Sales Navigator, I can now go down to groups and I can type in Financial Advisor. Did I spell that right? Let's hope if you spell it right. Geez, like James, sure, advisor, and then it'll sort of bring it up. Now, because I'm a member, I can see all of this. Now, if I click on it, right, now you'll see it bring it up here. So now it's showing me all the members of the group, right? And now I can use the rest of the filter. So now what I can do is I can say, okay, well, show me all of the people that are in South Africa in this group. Okay. So now I've got all the South Africans. There's 966. So I can now go and send all of these people a connection request because I know that they're in this group for financial advisors. Okay. So this is how you find people using groups. And if I had said financial advisor marketing, this might have been a better. See, again, less because I've added the word marketing. But this particular group, who I am a member of, have got 797 members. This one who I'm not. So let's go and see what does this group look like. So I now get to this group, and obviously I can't see because I'm not a member. That's why I'm not seeing all the other stuff. But what I can see is that this group is called the Insurance and Financial Advisor Marketing Group. It's a private group, right? Because it's listed. I know that there's 14,603 members. And if I click down here, it'll tell me all the information. So this group is about the Insurance and Financial Advisor Marketing Group, which is about helping you to create more clients, which means more money, how, blah, 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 right? Then they'll generally have some rules on what you can and can't do, etc. So let's say I want to join this group. So then I'll just click join. Right now you can see if I come back, I can withdraw the request, but I have to wait now because I've asked to join the group. Now I must wait for them to approve me. Yes, but you can see I can't see their posts, nothing, because I'm not a member. But if I was a member, then I can do all the cool stuff that I showed you over here, right? Where you can get to everybody. So this is the great power of members. And by the way, what I should have actually shown you here, if I go back here, let's say. I don't, but let's say I wanted to message this guy. You can see his message. So if I click on it, I can now write him a message, right? And I just write him my message and I send it. Boom. Thanks for coming. I can do that 15 times for free. Doesn't come out of my connection request, out of my messages, nothing. It's just here I can connect. So not only are we finding targeted people, but we can also message them directly from here. Okay. It doesn't mean they connect, it just means I can message them. All right. So that's very cool. And then the last one, really, just to show you, very similar actually to groups, is events. So on LinkedIn, people run events all the time. So here's an event that's going to run on the 27th of March. Experienced Financial Advisor Opportunity Event. Okay, it's in New York, but that doesn't really matter to me. I can deal with people in New York. I can see there's only 3 attendees so far. So this is probably a bad example. Let's try accountant. See if we get anything better. So 2 attendees, 4. Okay, these are all crap. Let's try AI. Everybody's into AI, right? Okay, that's thousands of events. So this event here, Disrupt AI Summit, turning AI potentials into results. So I can see it's on the 13th of March. There's 27 attendees. Let's find one I really want to attend. Actually, let me type in link. Let's do LinkedIn AI. Let's see if there's anything there for us. No, there is not. Okay, let's do LinkedIn. Oh, hang on. I do need to put that in events. There we go. Okay, how to attract high-quality clients on LinkedIn using AI tools. So let's say I want to join this particular event, right? So this is today. It's 7 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this event. Right, and I see, because like there's probably opportunity for me to do exactly the same thing. So if anybody is joining this particular event, which has been run by Lead Wizard, probably shows that they're also interested in what I'm doing. Okay, so I can see that there's 25 attendees. At the moment, I can't see who they are. But if I register, and all I do is I click register, then there's this form. I just want to put a different email address on here. And then I say, yes, you can send me stuff, submit. Now what's going to happen is now I'm registered, right? So what has happened now is now the button changes from register to share. And here where it says networking, I can go into networking and I get to see all the people that are attending. I click on that. So now I can message all of these people. Hey, Andrew, saw you're attending this event, how to attract high quality clients on LinkedIn. I'm also going, we're great to connect, right? Boom, 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 boom. All these people might be relevant to me. I might need to try to find my ideal niche in here. So maybe I'm only looking for, and you can see I can use some of the other filters, right? So again, maybe I want to find, and again, I may or may not find, I want to find industry. So let's just say professional services, for example. Who of these guys are in professional services? 16 of them. Or I might have said financial services or whatever. But this is how you, if you actually go into your main LinkedIn, like there's so much power sitting in here that people just like ignore, right? The power of niching is that you're able to take keywords and things that are related to this niche, and you can put it into people, into jobs, into posts, into groups, and into events, and into schools sometimes. So hopefully I've shown you like a bunch of different ways to just like open your minds in terms of how to really use LinkedIn effectively, because you've built a profile that's very targeted, where you're trying to reach out to specific people. Okay, now you know how to use it. All right, okay, what did you guys think of that? That opened up some big aha moments for you. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely did need a lot of indigestion.
Yeah, this is one of those videos you should watch again and again and make some notes on it. And just go play. Like literally anything that you know about your niche that you can think of, go and look at those options. Use the Boolean search. It's extremely powerful in order to do this. I think what I'm going to do. So we need to take a break now anyway, for a few minutes. I'm debating whether I should actually call it a day for today, and send you on your way to go and play around with this stuff. Reason being is if we can get you guys onto Sales Navigator, and hopefully we can do that relatively soon, then I can show you the next thing, because the next thing I'll show you here that I want to do is this. The next thing is messaging, right? Now, this whole first piece about connection messages kind of relies on you being able to actually send one. If you don't have Sales Navigator, you're going to be limited to 200 characters, and you're only going to be able to do, I think it's 10 a month, which is useless, right? Then you might as well just send a blank connection request. Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do for homework, right? I want you guys to go and start sending connection requests. Okay, so your job for next week, remember you can send 100 connection requests every single week. Okay, so do I want you to send 100 connection requests next week? No, I do not. Okay, here's the reason why. We want to warm up your processing. If you start sending lots of connection requests, LinkedIn's algorithm is going to have an absolute canary and is going to say, hey, you haven't been sending stuff before. All of a sudden you're trying to send 20, 40, 100 today. Like, what's going on? And then you get blocked and banned and all sorts of stupid shit happens. So you want to warm it up. So what I want all of you to do, and this is very, 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 very important. Okay. I want every single one of you to send 10 connection requests a day for the next week. Okay. Do not skip a day. I don't want to hear you were busy or whatever, right? Because all I want you to do is to find someone and then to send a connection request without a note. Okay. So You go and you find somebody, you open up this person, you go to their profile. I should have done this in, sorry, let me do this in sales in LinkedIn. You guys are all going to be in LinkedIn at this point, right? So let's say I want to connect to Andrew. I'm going to, no, actually Andrew is a bad example. Let's do this guy, Conrad, right? So I want to connect to Conrad, so I open Conrad's profile. I go to connect and I just hit send without a note. That's it. No note, nothing, right? That's what I want all of you to do. So I want, there's two very important things that you're trying to do. The first thing is I want you not, and don't send it to just anybody so that you send 10, right? That's not the goal. The goal is for you to use the filters that I taught you last week, and the very cool shit I taught you today, and go and find 50 people, 10 a day, right? That fit your ideal client profile. Because remember, we don't want to connect with arbitrary people anymore. Only the people that are likely to become your client. So try to find those people and send them connection requests 10 a day every day. So what's happening is you're starting to get a little bit of a feel for what it's like to work with the LinkedIn filters, right? Therefore, when you get Sales Navigator, you'll be able to take the experience you've got from LinkedIn to another level, and also you'll be able to use LinkedIn in case you don't have Sales Navigator forever, also to be able to still get a reasonably good quality of prospect that fits your niche, that all the work that you've done up until now, that it's very congruent to what it is you're doing. So that's the first thing, right? I want you to get that experience to do that stuff. The second thing is that by sending the 10 connection requests, you are starting a process, okay? This is your beginning of your commitment to be consistent, right? You can fuck up a lot of stuff, but not this, right? I don't care if you get busy. I don't care what happens. You can not follow up for a whole week. I don't care. But there must not be a day that goes by that you do not send a connection request, right? And if something goes wrong, you need to make sure that you send the maximum amount of connection requests that you can send in a week, right? You cannot miss it because you never get them back. So if something happens, and I don't want you to do this now, right? Because I'm helping you to warm your account up. It's very important. So on another day, it might happen that, yes, I'm busy during the week, but on Friday now I have to send 100. Okay, but you're not going to do that now. You only do that later. It's not good policy to do that, but I'd rather you send 100 than not at all on one day. So you must get into the habit of consistency, right? This whole system lives and dies and breathes on the consistency. If you're consistent, you'll get results. If you are not, you wasted all of your time to this point. Okay, I can't put it any simpler than that. So I want you to start the consistency. I want you to build the muscle. And if you have to put this in your diary and you say for half an hour, I'm doing LinkedIn prospecting and I don't take a phone call, I don't see a client, I do nothing else, then do that. Okay. Let me show you what I do. My calendar looks like this. Okay. Every single day, that shit is there. There's place for admin, there's place for projects, all sorts, right? So this is why I'm consistent, because it's in my calendar. You can't phone me, you can't book with me, nothing. Do that, right? Most important habit you will develop here is that consistency of sending those connection requests. So that's what I want you to do. So use everything I've taught you, find 50 good people and send 10 connection requests every single day for the next week, so that you've sent 50 by the time I see you again. All right. Any questions on that?
No questions.
All right. Can you all do that?
Yeah. We're on it.
Yes.
Okay. So this gets that muscle built. This is the start. So what's happening now? So from today onwards, you guys are now moving into implementation. And so this is where it gets a lot more fun, in the sense that this is where you'll really learn a lot. So up until now, there's been, I understand it's been a lot of theory, and we've had to build some stuff. But now you're getting into the trenches. Like this is now real world stuff. This is like when you make a cold call or you knock on a door. Like that's what we're doing. So the good news is that as soon as you start, you'll now start to get results, right? And your results might be crap. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. I was horrendous when I started this, but what can now happen is when we meet again, right, we can start talking about those results. It's okay, show us what happened, and then we can go and we can learn from each other, and you'll get better and better and better. So now, because you're actually doing it, you're getting real world results. So no more theory anymore. Now it's going to be real, it's practical. And so from this point onwards, this is where you really take your lead generation efforts forward. So go do this work, right? Like if you up until now, yeah, you could catch it up. You can't catch this up. You either do it or you don't. Like if you didn't do it this week, you ain't getting it back next week. You can't. Every week is fresh, right? Your job as financial advisors is to generate leads. Is one of your key tasks, your key functions, right? So make this part of it. Like surely it's easier to sit on LinkedIn for half an hour a day and get these and to try and knock on doors, go visit people, phone people, right? I'm not saying you won't do that from this, but at least this will give you the people to do that with. This will make your life so much easier. It's targeted. You speak to the right people. Eventually, you only get the people that want to talk to you coming back to you. It's like it's flipped everything you've done in the past on its head. This just becomes so much easier. But you got to do it, and you got to be consistent. Okay. If there's one thing you take away from today, it's consistency, consistency, consistency. Right, I'm off my soapbox now. Do you guys have any questions? Otherwise, we'll end it there for today.
No questions on my side.
All right, all good.
Yeah, nothing, no question.
All right. I'm not sure. In terms of saying, are you back? Okay, maybe not.
So you said
okay.
this should be second level connections, right? That we are
Yeah.
inviting now.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So the reason is because if it's a second level connection, by definition, that means somebody else is a first. So you want that to happen because somebody looks at it and says, oh, okay, they're connected to someone else in my network, and they can see who it is also, which is kind of cool. So if you look at if we let's go back here. So if we go to LinkedIn, if I'm doing this search, let's just do people quickly. Let me just do financial advisor again. So this person's a second degree connection, right? So if I click on Pride, you will see that it tells me that there's 49 connections, but these people are mutual. So if I click on this, it'll tell me who they are. Okay.
Not sure if it's me, James, or you not sharing the screen. I'm not sure if it's only me.
Oh, well, nope. It ain't on you. So what I was showing you is I just went back to I just picked the guy at random, and I was showing you he's got 49 connections in total, but he's got these few people. So there's these two guys and 4 others who are mutual connections, right? So if I click on them, what that means is that you can see that these are the people who are first level connections to us, right? So all of these people are first level connections to me and to Pride. That's how we know, right? So these are all the first. So I can look at this and say, okay, do I know any of these people? Oh yeah, I know Katlego. Okay, cool. Now I can go back to Pride and I can, or I can send Pride a message saying, hey, we're both connected to Katlego. Should we connect? Right. So that this was the illustration to show you how how it links. There's always going to be at least one first level connection. If it's a second degree connection, that's just the way that the algorithm is created. So that's all that means. But yes, stick with second rather than third. So if I go for third, you'll see if I open. Okay, let me go back. If I go here and I go for third, and I open this person. You'll see here, I got less information, right? So she's got 18 connections, but she's not connected to anybody else. So I don't know if she's good or bad. I don't know anything about her. And people are going to see the same about you. If they see that, oh, I'm connected to other people, it's like, oh, okay. And the more people you connected to, so more you get involved in a niche, right? Sometimes I connect to people and I've got 500 or more connections in common. If I send you a connection request, right, and you go in and you see, yes, like James and I have got 77 connections in common. Like immediately you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, there's obviously something in this. We should probably be connected because he's connected to 77 people that I'm also connected to. Versus blessing here where there's nothing. You see where the psychology art comes into play. It's important. So that's why second degree connections.
Makes sense.
All right. All right, cool. All right, folks. As they say in the movies, that's a wrap. So for those of you that need to catch up, do that. For the rest of you, try get into this. This is fun. Just go sit and play around and start messing around with LinkedIn and start building out these, trying to find the right people, start connecting, because this is where it gets real for you. And it's a thrill when they start accepting your connection requests. At this stage, don't worry about when they accept. Right? Next week I'll show you what to do it. This week I just want you to do it. I just want you to build the. I want you to build a muscle and build a habit. I don't want anybody telling me next week I didn't send 50 connection requests. Don't want to hear that. Okay. And I'm going to ask you all. It'll be the first question I ask you. but do it, and you'll start to see some exciting things starting to happen. Okay. So we're getting close to the business end. We started the business end. I'm going to show you how to take it on a little bit. And then what I want you guys to focus on, for me, please, is try to do as good a job as you can if you haven't already with your profiles. And I want you to have your niche defined. And then next week we'll talk about it. I want to try to have some meetings with you guys individually, so that we can see if I need to help you with any improvements and things. I might leave it another week because it might be good just to give you guys another week or so to practice with the stuff. Because then when we have a discussion, we have quite a practical discussion. And I just want to make sure that all of you are where you need to be and on the same page, because once we get through this, I want to help you guys with the follow-up messaging, and that's really where I want you guys to get results. That's really where the actual money is. But all the stuff that was such a grind to get to is like such critical stuff. You might not think so, but I promise you it is. And if we've got it in place, when you do this outreach, it just makes life so much easier. And then if you add content on top of that, more so still. But we'll talk about that on another day. Righto, folks. Off you go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see you same time, same place next week.
All right. Thank you, James.
All right,
Thank
guys. Have a good one. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.